Thank you so much for coming.
Sebulon Carlander, a future NATO Fellow of the Atlantic Council. Thank you, Madam President, for an excellent speech, and I would like you to expand further on security and stability in the Balkans, because I know that there's also a number of other issues, like the migrant crisis also affecting the region, and extremism and other issues. So could you speak a bit broader about security in the region and what role NATO and the EU can play other than through the open door policy? Thank you.
Thank you.
And let me ask the second question. I'm very interested, as you know, in what we call the North-South Corridor of the Atlantic Council, and you're calling the Adriatic-Baltic-Black Sea Initiative. If this works the way you would like it to work, what does it look like in 10 years?
Thank you very much. To expand a little bit further on security in Southeast Europe, of course, in addition to, as I've said, influence of Russia, but also some other third countries, we have seen a rise in extremist religious doctrines, especially Islam, extremist Islam. We have seen influences by some third states in the Gulf by Salafism, but also a number of fighters have gone from Bosnia and Herzegovina, Kosovo, and other countries to fight on the side of ISIL. Of course, when they come back, it's not just an issue of radicalization, but of integration of those people in societies who most certainly suffer from PTSD, from different levels of PTSD, who have been radicalized not just in the sense of religion and their ideological beliefs, but in the sense of the actions that they're ready or prepared to take. Of course, that is a threat to our security, but also the threat to our economies, as one can imagine what a terrorist attack would do to the tourism industry and the perception of stability of all of our countries. So together with the EU and with NATO, we need to work a lot harder on exchanging information, but also in determining the proper actions in how to reintegrate the people in the mainstream societies. If you just send them to prisons, unfortunately, the biggest danger is that they will further radicalize people who are with them. The second aspect is the media domain, especially with the new media and the social networks. The so-called war of ideas, or rather terrorist and religious extremist networks using the dissatisfaction of young people. We've seen the youth bulge in the Mediterranean produce first the Arab Spring, which turned into an Arab winter, and a lot of other issues that we're dealing with now in the MENA region. But there is a potential for that to happen in Southeast Europe as well if we're not careful and mindful, and if we are not vigilant in terms of not just trans-border and international threats, but what happens within our own societies as well. I have to say, and I always underline that the Islamic community in Croatia is really an exemplary community of integration, not assimilation, but integration of Muslims in the mainstream society, and working together with everybody else in Croatia for implementing the strategic development goals of the whole of Croatia. And I hope that through work with them, we will promote not just the true values of Islam, but the benefits that the Islamic communities can do in fostering not just local understanding, but international understanding, and in combating the root causes of instability that we see. Another potential threat is migrations. Now the so-called Western Balkans route has been closed, but with a potential explosion in the numbers of people going through our countries, that could certainly provoke instability. And as I've always said, there is absolutely no reason why migrants should travel the land routes, because they're not escaping the war from the first country of origin, but they are really, they've traveled several safe countries before they get to our own countries, and just not allowing for proper transportation and proper arrangements that would get these people to the countries who will take them and integrate them into our societies. I'm afraid that we're just supporting the human trafficking industry that has flourished, especially in the Mediterranean, and has caused thousands of deaths of people in the Mediterranean Sea. And there are numerous other issues, but that certainly, I think, could be a topic of an entirely different conference. And to respond to your